ticketus evaporatum, copius distractus, blamius GPSM.
It's that car show, and what didn't we talk about this week, guys? Lindsey checked out Avance on the Green with our Avance friends in the PNW. Some awesome stuff in the mix. Like those guys. Car Week coming up. Avance party. Take care of your boys and girls. Let's see. Going down the list. Dan has more adventures in car rentals. And comes up with a template we should all use moving forward. VW Buzz, there's some controversy around there that doesn't involve Epstein. We talk about prices for the Cayman GTS, which are crazy at the moment. And those are just on the ones that have been previously wrecked. We provide an ode to the classic Range Rover. I think it's a car that we all like. Kind of wish they still made cars like that. Didn't even get to the new Singer. It's got lights that pop up. They're very cool. Did I miss anything, guys?
No, I think that's
Advance on the Green.
Yep.
Well, that was the first thing, Dan.
I didn't hear you say that.
That's okay.
I thought you said the first thing was Adventures in Car Rental.
I think that's an intro.
Tune into that car show. We know we will be.
Again.
All right.
Well, welcome back to That Car Show. I'm Lindsey, and I'm here with Ryan.
Hey.
And we think Dan's going to be here momentarily, but for now, we thought we would just get things going. And oh, there
hey
it is. Hi, Dan.
I'm sorry I'm late. You wouldn't believe it. I was at this Coldplay concert last night, and you wouldn't believe what happened.
Wait, tell us everything.
How about that, huh?
Yeah.
There's nothing to do with cars, but yet it's something I find fascinating. We're all talking about it.
That is
today.
the news item of the day at the
Check
moment.
your local tabloid if you don't know what we're talking about.
Talk about caught red-handed.
Set the internet on fire. Not in the way that those people maybe wanted to, but...
So in a nutshell, there was this couple. I think he's married. I think she was recently divorced.
Yeah.
He's the CEO of, I think, astronomy.com. No idea what that is. Let's just refer to it as astrology.com moving forward so we don't get sued. And she was just brought on recently as head of HR. And they were at this Coldplay concert, I think, in New York.
I don't know, actually. But yeah, my favorite...
baseball stadium or something. And
I guess Chris Martin has a kiss cam that he likes to direct at couples in the audience, and he decided to direct it at them.
Yes.
And the best part was the two of them have no chill, unfortunately for them, because as soon as the camera was on them, they flipped out, and it was very clear that they did not want to be caught on camera together.
Yeah. They were obviously like in a box because, the guy's a CEO, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, to the unknowing eye, they just looked like a couple in love, middle age,
Right.
I don't know, probably early 50s or something, I'm guessing, not kids, our age,
No.
right?
My favorite part of the clip is them freaking out because it immediately
Yeah.
told everyone watching that something was very wrong.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
giant neon sign.
it's always the HR person, though, isn't it?
I don't know if this is true or fact, but I've got a statement. He's released a statement, I think. So I've got no facts to say that this is actually his statement, but it sounds like it could be.
ChatGPT.
Shall I read it out?
Yeah.
Please.
I want to acknowledge the moment that's been circulating online and the disappointment it's caused. What was supposed to be a night of music and joy, he was at a Coldplay concert, turned into a deeply personal mistake. Playing out on a very public stage. Yeah. I want to sincerely apologize to my wife, my family, and the team at Astronomer, or whatever the name of the company is.
Yeah, Astronomer.
You deserve better from me as a partner, as a father, and a leader.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is not who I want to be and how I represent the company.
It was their first date or something.
Which it was clearly not.
This is going to get worse.
Oh,
I promise
please.
you. I promise you. I am taking time to reflect, to take accountability, and to figure out the next steps, personally and professionally. I ask for privacy as I navigate that process. Now, this is the bit that is probably going to make you spit out your tea, your whiskey, whatever, all right?
So
Margarita.
pull over, swallow your drinks. Now carry on.
I also want to express how troubling it is that this should have been a private moment and it became public without my consent. I respect artists and entertainers, but I hope that we can all agree to think more deeply about the impact of turning someone's life into a spectacle. And as a friend once said, lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you.
Get out of town.
Wait, is that for real?
So I think that last line that I hadn't read till just then means it wasn't a real statement.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
who knows? But it's a good
Wow.
effort.
That's amazing. But
very,
you know what?
That is the tone of that
Yeah,
is very
it tracks.
deflection. I'm the victim, whatever. That's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
accurate for
yeah,
somebody that would behave that way. So
what does astronomer.com do? Do we know this?
I don't know, but I think what we're going to hear is that this was part of their guerrilla marketing plan to get a bunch of publicity without buying any advertising.
I mean, I've never heard of astronomer.com.
No, but we all have now. So could be a bargaining chip for him when he goes in to negotiate his severance. And he's like, but look at the visibility I've brought to the organization.
Does he go into HR to negotiate that?
It is a mission-critical analytic AI and software company. So if they are looking to sponsor any podcasts, maybe
Take it all back.
We're open to a discussion.
I am just so sick of that type of person, right? What a piece of shit. And, you know, I'm not going to mince words here. Just that attitude, right? Take responsibility for yourself. And, you know, I mean, you're at a Coldplay concert. It has nothing to do with cars. I realize. We were talking before we started recording tonight. The older I get, the less inclined I am to suffer fools.
Yeah.
And, boy, this is Exhibit A, huh? So...
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, the three of us lead our lives perfectly, ethically,
Obviously.
you know, morally, you know, straight edge,
mean,
you know. But
My glass house is doing just fine.
but man, that made my day. You know, I mean, it's fun to see someone get their due once in a while.
Karma's a bitch, isn't it?
Right.
It is. It is.
What
It
is
is.
it?
I'll get you
Karma's a
eventually.
bitch and she remembers names and drives a big bus or something.
There we go.
Speaking of driving, and we have a bit of, I'm sensing a bit of a theme tonight because we have another news item with a British celebrity, and maybe Dan can help enlighten the rest of us with the ins and outs of the British driving penalty system, because Emma Watson recently lost her license for 6 months for speeding.
Like
So-
6 miles over the speed limit or something, wasn't it?
That may seem, doesn't
Eight.
it? That may seem like the biggest crime in history, right? 8 miles over the speed limit. But
There's no margin.
the fact that in the UK, on your driver's license, you get a points system. So they issue you with up to 12 points. So you start with 0, and every
It's like a
time
reverse auction.
Yeah, there we go. So every time you incur some sort of traffic violation in terms of either speeding or similar, like maybe using your cell phone without it being hands-free, or driving without a driver's license. Your license.
That's kind of a biggie.
That's a big one. Or seatbelts. You get points.
Okay.
So our good friend Emma was on 9 points. And I think that then goes to court because it's a decision about license being banned, etc.
Right.
Now, the biggest question I was thinking about is what spell could she cast to get out of that? So I've got a couple here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear it.
You do.
Yes. So ticketus evaporatum might have helped.
I like that one.
Copious, as in police cop, copious distractus. And then blameous GPSism for the GPS. So if only she'd had her wand with her, she'd have been fine.
Right? I know. They're like, ma'am, why did you drive straight through the roundabout? Well, the GPS told me to.
Told me to do so. Yeah. It's like
gotta-
these cars that end up in the sea, isn't it?
Right.
And they blame the GPS.
I know.
Yeah.
I think at a minimum, I think that's that car show challenge for us and our listeners. Should you find yourself in a close encounter with law enforcement,
Yeah.
we're going to do like a Super Troopers challenge, and you have to work in one of the names of those spells. just in conversation.
Yeah, yeah. The good thing is this news item distracted the media from the real news item, which was Emma Watson at the Coldplay concert, snuggling up at the box. No, I'm kidding. Anyway,
Man.
I've never seen one of those movies. I've never seen a Harry Potter movie. Is that weird?
Well, I
I've
think
never
now
read a
you
book.
have to. If we're discussing them on the show, then
Yeah.
you have to go do your research after
Yeah,
and
yeah,
watch
yeah.
all the movies
Do
and read all the books.
My spells practice. Yeah,
Exactly.
So what
But
was
there-
she driving? That's the most important thing. Do we know?
It was an Audi.
It was an Audi. It wasn't a broom.
It was not
It was
a broom.
okay, or
No,
whatever they
the broom was in the shop, so she was driving her Audi. But yeah, I mean, kind of unexpectedly, this week has been a lot of car-related news items, or not car-related, depending on what we say. But I'm sure we've all seen the picture of the roof yellowbird that fell off the transport truck in Santa Barbara, and poor went out for the car and the transporters, who I would imagine are open to new opportunities now.
Is it still a yellowbird if it's black?
I know. I was surprised that they come in colors other than yellow, but
Be a blackbird, right? But
Right.
Yeah.
So if
Or
you
a
didn't see
raven.
this, it was a, I don't know what the company was. It was one of these transporters, these high-end
Right.
transporters. It was on the lift. It was on the second level. It was the ramp was out. It was horizontal, and the nose of the car was at the end of the ramp. The ass end of the car was on the ground. There was someone in the driver's seat, and he was flipping off the camera.
yeah. Well, that was the fact that the video came out. Then people were saying, okay, this was not photoshopped, because when the still pictures came out, people said, please God, let this be a bad prank that somebody has photoshopped this. And then the video surfaced, and obviously the guy in the driver's seat was flipping off the cameraman. But bro,
What's
how
that car
did that
worth right now? $1.5 million?
No. So a few of them have been up for sale lately. There's obviously only 29 in existence.
Okay.
There was one that broke records. I think it was at Amelia or somewhere on the East Coast.
Okay.
But that had such low mileage. I think it went for like 6.5 million.
Oh shit.
I was gonna-
But
yeah.
a regular yellowbird, so one of the 29 without low
Yeah.
mileage. I think there's going to be one at Car Week, but they go for about 4 to 4.5 million.
Okay. Wow. I'm way off. But well, everything's getting more expensive, guys.
Right.
And
Right.
apparently that's
including the yellowbirds.
yeah.
Well,
Good
I mean,
God.
I think anybody that's transported a car, especially, we know how much these cars mean to us, and they become like a member of the family or our babies.
Yeah.
And there's like one of those moments that really gives you heart palpitations as a car enthusiast is either having a car brought to you that you haven't seen, or putting it on transport, to do something with it. And you just
Yeah.
go, please let it, because we've all seen these videos.
Yeah.
It can go terribly wrong.
It happens all the time. That's the crazy
does.
thing. And
There
how
was
does
there was a picture that was circulating a couple months ago. It was sent to one of my family members, and it was a silver, I think it was a vintage Lambo, and it was almost identical. Like
Jeez,
the
jeez.
front was still up on the ramp, and the back of the car was on the ground. And then there was a video in Florida of a 962 that almost rolled off, and the only
Yeah.
reason it didn't was because the guy standing on the ramp saw it and held onto the car and managed to
Jeez,
keep
jeez.
it from falling off. So it does happen.
So I would
way more than
think-
we'd like to acknowledge.
Yeah, no, I mean, and these are vintage cars, and things go wrong. Parking brakes snap, brakes fail,
Yeah.
whatever. But I would think that just as a point of practice or whatever, you would put a chalk behind the wheels just every time, because it
Yeah,
looks
or
like it
you'd
just
have-
rolled off.
Like multiple layers of kind of backup. I mean, you'd hope. Like, you'd hope for everyone involved, because nobody wants to be, like, none of us wish that on the guy who was in the car.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's not a position
No,
anybody
that's
wants to be in.
just. I mean,
Nobody wants
worst.
to be the person who's supposed to be taking
Yeah,
delivery of the amazing car.
yeah.
It's all bad.
As I understand it, I'm sure this is different from carrier to carrier, but obviously, through our activities, we've dealt with these carriers, these companies.
Yeah.
I believe that most of the big companies, these people are independent contractors, so they own their rig. They are insured, right? I mean, it's their own insurance policy, and then they basically fly the flag of whether it's reliable or any one
Right.
of these big companies. So I think it's on that guy, and if that car is $4 million plus. I mean, that's
Yikes.
bedtime, I would think. I mean, that's just, and
Well,
I guess I have a question too. Do they charge more if it's a more expensive car? I always thought it was kind of just one price or whatever.
Flat fees, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I think it depends on how the insurance or the liability is structured, because especially if it's an independent contractor, you have to imagine the liability insurance they'd have to carry would be incredibly steep.
Yeah.
And I would think they would tie that in. But I know, like, when I've gotten quotes to transport cars, it's been a set rate.
Yeah.
You know,
There's a couple of local transport companies here, and they insure the load up to 25 million.
Okay.
Because they deal with high-end car companies, cars and stuff.
yeah.
But I don't know what like excesses or you guys call them deductibles would be.
Right. Yeah. I don't really ever want to find out.
No,
Right.
no. And as I understand it, these women who drive these trucks, I mean, they are at the top of the trucking heap, right? Like they make good money, but the stakes are high, right? And and Exhibit A, but is it last year's Car Week? There was a car that caught on fire, some concept car.
Yes.
Yeah. That's right.
It was the Ford Probe concept car.
That's right. Which we had just seen at Pebble, if I recall.
We all just saw it, right?
Yeah.
And I had spent it drew me in, and I ended up spending like more than a few minutes with it. And so then to find out it was that car that burned like just a few hours later was even crazier. And then I just learned recently there was a second one that caught on fire same day, and it really didn't get any coverage. But it happened twice, on the same day.
Was there a probe into the cause of the fire?
But
It doesn't even.
Well, but that was what was interesting about that is they said because it is a one of one, but it was basically disintegrated.
Yeah, I mean that was awful.
We're bringing the chassis back to the collection, and we might restore it, but we might not. But we don't know.
Yeah, that's just.
But that they
wild.
weren't going to just write it off. They were going to save what was there and then just kind of take their time and process it, and they might bring it back to life.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, it would be. It's like restoring an airplane where, like, obviously all the parts are new.
Yeah. Well, if they ever find Amelia Earhart, that plane's coming back. That's gonna be flying in 2 years.
Well, that's what's so interesting to me about vintage cars versus vintage airplanes. Is vintage cars, the discussion is like, is it numbers matching, engine and chassis and all of that, and the criteria for a vintage airplane to be considered accurate or authentic, all you have to have is basically the VIN plate, like it's the VIN equivalent on the airplane.
I've heard,
because they're sort of like, listen, we need it to be airworthy.
Yeah.
We're not going to get picky.
Yeah.
You could make the same argument. We want the cars to be roadworthy too.
Yeah.
But there's a mindset of like, but if it's not the original pieces on the car, it doesn't count.
We should get Mark Foster from Lion Air Museum on sometime. I bet he'd have a thing or two to say about that.
He is the reason that I know that little tidbit.
See?
There we go.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But in other automotive news that has raised people's blood pressures this week, what do we think about the new Range Rover placeholder-ish logo for when the other one's too long?
We're fired up tonight, listeners.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? What is it? It's an R on top of an R, basically.
Yep.
A mirrored R on top of an R.
Yeah, that pretty much
is this
sums
the
it
same
up.
agency Jaguar hired? Like, what's going on over there in the UK, Dan?
Right.
Let's speak for your people.
Well, we say Jaguar for a start.
How do you say Range Rover?
Range Rover.
Range Rover? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? The only thing I thought when I saw the logo was it would make like a good gangster rapper gold chain.
Oh my
emblem.
God! Yes.
Yeah, the necklace medallion.
Yeah.
It's perfectly suited for that.
So maybe that's what they were thinking.
That's right.
You can only imagine like all of the agency meetings and like billable hours that went into that, and to end up with basically a new rapper medallion.
Yeah.
And what's interesting to me too is the company's been in business for decades, and they've never run into like this is the first time they're feeling a need for like a tinier logo.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the oval?
Right.
Well, but Range Rover is its own brand now, right? And has been for a few years, right? They've sort of separated from Land Rover. So the lesser, I guess, Defenders or whatever. But
so maybe that's what it is. It's more, they're trying to distinguish it more.
It's pretty, I mean, it's pretty awful. And, someone who like literally went to school for this,
Right.
I don't know how this, I guess they've got a good salesperson because, talk a good game because this is just a whole lot of nothing. And you see this a lot. And
Yeah.
especially when a brand like Jaguar or Land Rover, they have such a legacy. I'm sorry, I can't do it right. They have such a legacy, right?
You're
You
telling
can
me.
mine the past, right, for something, right?
Right.
I mean, there's just so much there. Most, if you've ever designed a brand for like a startup, you dream of something that's got 80 years of history, right? Like it's
Right.
just I don't understand. And I had a moment of zen with a classic Range Rover the other day. I was driving down the street, and across the intersection at the other light was a white, probably would call it like a 1990 like County LWB or something like that. White. Do you
Yeah.
remember the one with the Harman Kardon? There's a long
Yeah.
wheelbase. And it was perfect. It was mint, and it was such a good looking thing.
Yeah.
And it brought me back to when those were new or newish and what they represented and how aspirational those things were and how I begged my Chrysler minivan driving parents to go and test drive one in 1987 when those were, brought to the States or whatever, right? And they were just so cool and unique and nothing like them. And it's just, it was almost like, if you drove one of those, you really were trying. You sought that out. You didn't fall into a Range Rover. I mean, they used to run these great ads in National Geographic and, that and the Rolex, right? With all the things we sort of aspire to now. But think about how that demographic has changed. Obviously, they probably sell 20 times more vehicles, 100 times more vehicles than they did, in the 90s.
Yeah.
But have they lost their way? Is this just the latest example of that? And because once it's gone, it's gone.
They
Well-
still sell so many, don't they?
Yeah.
They have no sales issue with them.
No, well, they're carrying a Jaguar Land Rover, right? I mean, they're
Yeah.
carrying, and I've got cicadas. I got my door open because it's hot here, and I can only hear them when I speak into the mic, and then that's what's going on. We're infested with cicadas all of a sudden.
We have a little National Geographic element this week.
That's
There you go. Just need a Land Rover parked
Currently in the
car
jungle, right? at the helm of a Camel Trophy Land Rover.
Right.
But thoughts? I mean, that's the car I want. I want to buy a Range Rover. I want that car now. I want that vehicle now. But that no longer exists.
Well, I mean, what do you think about the design of the modern ones? Because I think it's an interesting sort of thought exercise. You go like this whole like new supplemental logo thing feels a little frivolous and silly and unnecessary, but it doesn't change how I feel about the cars. Like that's a dream car for me. I mean, I was lucky enough to live in England a little bit in college, and that was when I really sort of zeroed in on those, and it was like, okay, I will have one at some point, and I will know that I have arrived when I do that.
Did you keep your 12 points?
I did. I actually did not drive because I was a student.
Okay. But
Yeah.
I'm with you. I would love to own a brand new Range Rover. It wasn't for the damn depreciation, and if I could afford the thing, maybe I would drive one. They're
Well, that's
beautiful.
why
They're
you
great,
get a 2-year-old CPO.
but they're not what they used to be. What's? Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and my HR director just whooping it up in a new Range
Like-
Rover. But
Sounds like a title for the show, doesn't it? Me and my HR director.
maybe it will be, Dan. Maybe it will be.
Meet
But
our new HR director. Dun, dun, dun.
In a Coldplay concert.
that's right. God, I wish we still did those intro songs like I did on the steering committee. That
I
was so
know, right?
great.
Her,
Remember there was
her
a
tenure
show.
will likely be brief, but we'd like you to meet her.
Yeah, $20. They were driving a new Range Rover to the show.
Yeah, there we
But,
go.
yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like I long for what that car was. And I would love to own one now, but it wouldn't be the same. I want one of those cars in period, right? That was something special. Remember they had the little like speakers above the hatch in the back. They had the funky shifter. I mean, they just were such cool vehicles. And no one's taken a $140,000 Range Rover or whatever off-road. They're just not. But people took those off-road back then, right? They
Yeah.
weren't precious in the same way. If you rolled up in something like that, it was kind of like rolling up in a Mercedes wagon or whatever. That was real money. That
Yeah.
was real. You knew what you were doing. And
Well,
I
it
miss
was-
cars like that.
It was the quiet luxury. Like, I think in some ways things are so conspicuous now. And before, like you said, it was a very subtle, like you definitely noticed it and you're like, all right, either those people are living way beyond their means or they're doing something right. But either way, I like the cars. But Dan, what was it like? I mean, Brian and I are speaking about this
Yeah, that's a
from
great
the
question.
American perspective. Like, what was it like being in Britain at the time with those cars?
Yeah, so we used to have Range Rovers, but I wouldn't say we were affluent in any shape or form. We used to have like 6-year-old In fact, G935FNO was the number plate.
I love that you
It shows
remember that.
how, and it was the sort of car that we would go on family holidays with, and we would go to France and we would find a beach and drive onto the beach with the car, and Dad would give me driving lessons, and so it
Light up a
it
smoke.
wasn't.
Life is
It was
good.
like a lifestyle. It was kind of like a lifestyle car for the family.
Yeah.
But obviously, the brand new ones were the ones that were aspirational, and in the UK, they're aspirational. So, we were having the older ones, but to get a brand new one, you'd made it. You had good money.
Yeah.
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 Well, there's some, I mean, we don't have the equivalent here. When you think about it, like, that's been the official car of the royal family
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
UK. Like, that adds something that you can, something intangible that, like, no, the brand, like, they wouldn't want to shake it. But, like, we don't have an equivalent here. We just knew they
No,
were special.
No.
Yeah.
No. The Escalade is not it.
No. But it is the official car of our version of royalty.
Yeah, and probably tracks better with that gold hood ornament on your chain. But
Actually, yeah.
it just really hit me how far we've come, for better or worse. And I think personality goes a long way, and personality is so rare in a new car anymore. Right? So anyway,
Yeah. No,
pouring
that's
out
fine. I know.
for what was Range Rover.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, I was watching, I don't know if you guys have watched the Dirty John miniseries, but I was watching that this week, and I always catch myself looking in the background at the cars. I don't know if you guys do this. I feel like it's a car person thing.
Well, it'll take you
And-
out of it if it's wrong.
Right? Well, and there was one movie years ago. It was like a made-for-TV movie, and I was watching it, and I figured out who the villain was because I was looking at the cars in the background, and I was like, well, his car shouldn't be. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Solved the murder
Yeah,
because I was
yeah,
looking at the
yeah.
cars.
Yeah.
But they had they had several old Broncos, and there was one junkyard scene, and it was like cars from the era of Range Rover you're talking about, Ryan, and it was like a vintage Ford Escort, and then there was like an 80s Cadillac DeVille and like two old Broncos from the early 90s, and it was just like it was a different time for sure.
Yeah. That's a whole other discussion. I have friends who work on their own cars, and apparently finding a good junkyard is hard anymore for a number of reasons. But anyway, health and safety, as you Brits would say, the fact that cars just aren't made to last in quite the same way, and all that.
Yeah. Well, and that can be a very thankless business. We had family friends that ran like a salvage yard for years, and they said one of the most challenging things was keeping the parts, keeping them organized, and finding a system to label them that stood the test of time, because they said we tried all these different things, and we could put, grease pen, or you could do markers or whatever, but if the part was there long enough and nobody needed it, the label would fade, and then you're standing there going, what is this?
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of dedication for the,
Yeah,
which you appreciate when you need to go mining the junkyard for parts.
Yeah.
But it's a fascinating, it's one of those challenges you don't really think about if you're not in the business.
Take your kids to a junkyard and instill that love. I haven't been to one in years, but when I was a kid, my dad had an old 46 Chevy pickup truck. And the whole time he had it, he was searching for, I think it was a left rear fender, right? Never found one, but we had a lot of good memories, there for a few years, hunting junkyards in eastern Kansas. And this is the fact that I remember that, right? It was
gonna say.
the sights, the smells, the, whatever. It was, junkyards are a good time. So.
That sounds like there's a book there. It's like the Bridges of Madison County, the junkyards of
The
Eastern
junkyards
Kansas.
of eastern Kansas.
Ryan's autobiography. The early years.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
The junkyard gate creaks open yet again.
Lindsey, I just got a message from our friend Abel Fong from Avance. You were just at an Avance thing. Sorry.
I was.
Sorry for the segue.
Yes. No, that's perfect. So Tori and my daughter and I got to go to Avance Classics on the Green, which is their annual event at the Chateau Saint Michel Winery in the Seattle area. And it was actually the 5th anniversary of the event, but it was my first time getting to go. And it was so lovely. Like, we kept commenting while we were there how nice it was. I mean, it's a beautiful setting. You drive in, and the winery has this long driveway lined with trees. So this year the theme was red, and so they lined the drive with all red cars, which was so cool. And so they had Ferraris and Porsches and a Jaguar and a Fiero and a Corvette, and it just like it was very visually impactful, and you knew immediately, you're like, this is going to be something special. And then we kind of wound around, and even the parking lot cars did not disappoint. There was a very Zenvo-esque Porsche Spider RS that had a wrap on it that was like blue and purple glitter, and it reminded me of the Zenvo that I got to see in LA a couple months ago. And then
And you probably had a glass of wine in your.
almost. I was en route for a glass of wine, so the theme was the same. Yes.
Yeah.
And there was a GT3 RS in the parking lot, GT500 Mustang, McLarens, Bentleys, Lambos, and then of course you get into the event, and it was such an interesting mix. They had obviously, Ryan, your favorite, and I was very sad you weren't there to experience it with me, was a magenta RWB.
Oh, you sent me a picture.
I know.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. I mean,
I got tagged in at least one Instagram post.
Yeah.
But my comment was the paint looks too good. Like, so what did they take it somewhere else after the midnight, chop shop,
right. Possibly. I mean, the paint looked amazing. So I was like, your feelings about RWB, and I'm using the Royal U, like anyone's feelings about RWB aside, this one was in beautiful condition. So that made it kind of fun to see. Yeah. They had a first gen Bronco that was bright red that was super fun. There was a beautiful vintage silver Aston Martin that was, James Bond vibes.
Yeah.
And then there was the M5 touring wagon in that launch green. And they had one of the radial Manx, and there was a De Tomaso Pantera and a Radical, and Matt Farah was there. He was the celebrity guest, so we got to see him, so that was really fun.
Cool.
And I got to enjoy my new Sheffield Black Diver 1A with the green accents, which I love so much, and it went so well with the green Classics on the Green event. And and so they also have the winery has wine that you can sample, and so it's delicious, and it was perfect.
Damn straight, yeah.
Exactly. And they had a Grand National there, which was such an interesting mix.
Nice. Yeah.
I
saw one driving on the street the other day. Just some guy driving one. Like it's been years, right, since they got special and no one drives them anymore.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool looking thing going down the road.
It is. I mean, we were talking about
those.
Like it's such a funny, like it's such a unique kind of, it's really its own thing because it's a Buick. But now they have this cult following, and even at the time it was such a sleeper, but they're so recognizable. So it was really fun to see that. Like it was a really good mix. They had this beautiful green, Lotus Esprit, and they had a beautiful green Urus.
Yeah.
And then they had a white Typhoon, which our friend Michael would have enjoyed.
Nice.
That was one of the first cars when you walked in, so that was really fun. And then and they had an F40 on the lawn.
Wow. Quite a hell of a turnout, Avance.
It was really cool because it was so, like, you never knew what was next, and the contrast was really fun, and there was so much different stuff to look at. And then they had a 356 art car that was really beautiful. It reminded a lot of people of the Janis Joplin Porsche, but like the art was really well done, which is not always the case, and so it was pretty.
I think you're being kind.
Well, in this case, I mean,
Some
and this
bad
one
art
had like a yellow lab on it, and it had a solar system on the roof. It was very cool. Oh, okay. And but I think one of my favorite things was the display of Harlequin Volkswagens.
Yeah.
Because they had wagons and they had, Golfs, and then they had a Bug, which is, I think, the only one in this area. Yeah. And that specific one played a significant role in Tori and I getting together as a couple. So that was probably my favorite car of the event.
By the way, Tori's Instagram game on fire.
I know.
He does
sets the bar high.
Yeah. He does these things for us, and I think Spike's Car Radio, and maybe a couple of other shows. And I don't know how he does them, but he spends some time. They're well curated. They're funny. They're so.
Can confirm he goes to a lot of trouble, and I think this week's triumph was the Bentayga with the Manx on the trailer. after we talked to Matt, because
okay.
that's Matt's Car Week rig.
Right.
But putting that together so he could put it in the synopsis took some doing. So
Right.
So does that mean if we name a car, there's a chance it might appear on the Instagram post?
that is correct.
What is the most obscure car we can name?
How do we ruin Tori's week?
Yeah, go find a picture of that one.
Yeah.
Well, so far we've named a Grand National, a Typhoon, a Lotus Esprit, and a Harlequin Bug.
Easy. That's like does that in a heartbeat.
Child's play. Come on. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
What was that ugly car, Ryan, that you quoted once? Safari, something Safari.
Oh yeah, God, that's a callback. There was some guy, I think he was like an American industrialist or something, who it was this this car where he basically, sometimes people lengthen cars. He widened a car, and then the intent was like for African hunting trips or whatever. And so it was like, I don't know, looked like a Packard or a 50s whatever that was, it had elevated seats in the back. I mean, I'm sure that they were upholstered in elephant or something. Do you remember? Yeah, that was a while ago. It was. They only made like 12, but there was one on Cars and Bids at one point a few years ago, and it was just a spectacle. And I think it sold for something absurd. But
As they do,
that was a car with presence.
What was the car?
Hideous, though.
What's the one that they mention on Spikes every now and then, and it's got a really bizarre name that is escaping me at the moment, and it was like a one-off, and it was blue, and Spike drove it. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh God, yeah, that was like a '90s. It was
and
a
the
car
name is
driver.
crazy, but I can't think of what it is.
Yes, it was like the had like an Armenian name or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
and
it'll come to me in 3 hours.
Maybe
but
our listeners and viewers can tag us and give us the name.
the
on Instagram.
Uabian Puma.
Yes. Something
I'll
along
declare
those
that I can't do it, and then it will come to me. Yeah.
It was really something.
Yeah,
really
the
something.
Uabian Puma, which would have fit the
New
Safari
Abian, that's
car.
what it was. The New Abian. Yeah.
So that's what we got. But so I went to look at a Cayman GTS that is up here for a friend today. But I think, Dan, there was a news item that you had shared that you wanted to chat about.
Was this
I shared it.
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay.
But I can't get over what GTS 4.0s are going for. In some cases, I think that they're going for more than the GT4s, right?
Yes.
If they're spec'd right, which is crazy.
It's wild.
And there was a beautiful one with our friends at Porsche of Colorado Springs. Really nice car, but and not that I'm a bucket lover necessarily. It didn't have buckets, and it was. I'm sure you could find a few GT4s priced less than this thing, and I can't get over what they're going for. So it's like they're having a moment. And I know, Dan, you had a couple. You ran into a couple bad ones, a couple bad apples out and about. But you just drove one, and what'd you think? Like, what would you take one over a GT4?
I would want to try the manual in the 4.0 GTS, and that's still on the list to try and test drive.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I've been looking, and those prices aren't going south anytime soon.
It's effectively the same motor. I think it's down 15 or 25 horsepower or something. I'm sure there's some detail differences. None of the aero, but great looking wheels on those. And I think as a one car or as a more of a daily driver, it makes so much more sense because you don't have quite the overhangs. But different suspension. So that's a big one. But still a wonderful car, but I wouldn't pay more than I would for a GT4.
No, I think that's definitely what was catching my attention too, because there were a couple that were like around the year of the GT4 and not that much lower in price. And it's like, well, if you're that close, I guess it depends, like you said, Ryan, if it's supposed to be your daily, that changes the consideration or changes the calculus. But yeah, it was fascinating to see that the GTS market is as hot as it is right now, especially when you compare it to the GT4 prices.
Right.
On the Boxster stuff, I think one of the reasons is that you're a lazy person, right? Because you don't want to have the hassle of assembling the roof on the Spider. So if you go for the Boxster convertible, it's a button up and down, right?
Oh, okay.
Right. That's a good point.
Also, we're calling out all the All the lazy.
We're not
fans.
saying that all spider owners are lazy. I'm definitely not saying that.
No.
And Jeff Jones, if you're listening, it's definitely not you. I would never say that.
Nor
We're
is
not
it you,
lazy.
Dan McInnes.
Right.
Yes.
So you
heard
drove
it here
one, Lindsay?
first. Sorry.
You drove one?
No, I didn't drive it.
okay.
Just went to look. Yeah, it was a wild car dealership experience, and I've had more than my fair share, as most car people have.
And what does that mean? Like it was like a buy here, pay here, which I still don't know what that means, but type lot or
No, like it was not a manufacturer lot. I'll say that.
okay.
But it was
Always an
not
invention.
it was not a lot where you would normally be concerned about, well, I don't want them to have my home address or something like that. It was a reputable.
No, those are Nissan dealerships. Sorry.
Yeah, you said it, I didn't.
They'll never stop calling. Ask me how I know.
I went to look at a specific one and got there and realized the transmission was different than as advertised. It was advertised as a manual, which is what this person is looking for.
I see.
And then, but turned around and they had another one that was a manual.
If only there was a way you
different
could tell.
color, right? And I'm like, wait, I was so careful to check the listing. It definitely said manual.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting because the one that was manual had, a lot of orange peel in the paint in an area that was different than what was showing on the Carfax as where the incident had been. And so there were definitely some like, all right, well, I mean, if the price was right and it's a fun car,
Yeah.
you could maybe see, but
So-
as we said, the market is hot. So
And so if it had orange peel, does this mean it had body work done? Because
yeah.
so far, every car between the two of you that you've looked at, Carrera
Yeah.
GTS 4.0 has had body work.
Right.
Interesting. And the one guy I know here in Denver who's got one, that car has had body work.
Well, and what made it even more, I guess, of a good story, but like this is not the right scenario, because the salesperson immediately started pre-explaining why the Carfax was not going to be clean, and it was like, ooh, and then it did list that there had been an incident, but was it a different area of the car where we could see the orange peel?
Oh,
Like,
wow.
Okay, so this was either multiple incidents or it was a much more significant incident.
Yeah. Maybe
You
he
know,
had been on a carrier, a transport.
Yeah. Next to a roof.
Callback to what we were talking about earlier, was thrown off the carrier, everything's fine.
Yeah.
So just
That's
and
disappointing.
it was
Hunt
it
continues.
was disappointing, and the approach from the salesperson was very like, nothing to see here, and it made me think too, like if you aren't as well versed in what you should be looking for or what orange peel even is, it's also really easy to find yourself in a bad situation or end up with something that's not what you thought it was, or it made me grateful for like the knowledge that we all have and the critical eye that we bring to it. But it was wild.
Speaking of bad dealerships, this is a hyperlocal reference, but I posted on Instagram. I reposted it from someone. It was a picture like a quadrant, 4 pictures, the 4 horsemen of bad drivers in Denver. And one was a Texas plate. One was having anime characters peeking up through the windows. The third was a temporary paper tag, Colorado, probably expired in 2023. And the fourth one was a car from Sharper Rides, which, if you know, you know. It's got this green sticker, and when you see one of those, like on a Chrysler 200 behind you, watch out, because bad news is coming.
I would add to that boxes of tissue on the back parcel shelf.
Oh,
That's not a good driver. Pillows on the back parcel shelf. It's not a good driver.
Yes, maybe some Werther's candies in the center console, I think is
There
what
we
you're
go. That's,
getting at.
Yeah, I think there's something definitely in the air this week, because even just the drivers on the road, just on like normal running around doing errands, I'm like, everyone has lost their minds. It's not good.
I chased a woman down today just to get a picture of it. She was in a. Do you know the? Mercury made a car that was the small 4-door early 2000s. It wasn't the Mariner, but it was the
Mercure?
Contigo. What is
not
it?
the Mercure. They did the Mercure, but that was like a.
No. This was like early 2000s. This was. There was a Ford equivalent. I don't even remember
Was
what
it
this
like
was.
the Mercury Escort equivalent?
It was the midsize, so it would be the same as the Ford. They did a hybrid of it. You'd know it if you saw it, but I haven't seen one of these in years.
Okay.
And on the back of this car was a plate that said private and exempt. It was obviously a fake license plate, probably some sovereign citizen bullshit thing. And it pissed me off so much because I pay my taxes. I register my car, right? I'm a responsible-ish, citizen. That I called the police and I reported it because that pissed me off so much. Again, it's like
I am not having it.
Not having it. I'm not having
driving, I'm traveling.
Traveling, that's what it is. And you can go down a whole YouTube rabbit hole with that stuff. But
boy.
I never wanted to be a cop so much as I did in that moment. But a pull over. Anyway.
It's never too late, right?
I think it is. I think there is an age cutoff. And now that I'm nearing 50, I'm probably out of luck, Dan.
But you'd be great undercover. No one would really.
No one would ever guess. Oh my gosh.
He knows a lot about Porsches. Maybe I can infiltrate the transporter, cabal
network.
that's dropping cars left.
For insurance claims, yeah.
Do we have any Porsche-related crimes we can put him on? No? All right,
No.
Tell him to call back next week.
No, that's a responsible people, those Porsche people.
Yeah,
anyway,
exactly. Well, so have you guys heard about the stop sale order on the ID Buzz that was issued recently?
Explain that, because I was a little confused with what I read.
Hold on, right. Let's pause for a minute. In order to have a stop sale, does that mean that they're actually selling cars?
So that's what makes this such an entertaining discussion item, because Volkswagen has issued a stop sale order on the ID Buzz without saying why. And normally when a manufacturer does that, they say stop sale or it's a stop drive order, and they say because XYZ. So they haven't said anything, which has set the internet and the rumor mill and the, conspiracy theorists ablaze.
Yeah.
And the most prevalent rumor right now is because they weren't selling it all, Volkswagen decided to try and distract from that or cover it up or whatever by issuing a stop sale order.
Really?
They're like, no, they're not selling because we can't. So discuss.
Well, I will say I've got a couple of friends who have got them and absolutely love them.
Yeah, I thought they were popular, but I never see them.
Yeah, they up in Seattle, and they love them. I mean, obviously the range isn't great, and it's an expensive electric car, but and I'm assuming, I don't know, were they liable for the tax benefit? Because come September, that's all going away, isn't it?
Well, and I heard that they, a large part of the reason they weren't selling was because of the tariff, concerns and the way that was impacting the price. But since the stop sale order, I've seen 2 or 3 on the street up here.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
they bought
Also,
them
I
before.
think in that article, which I think you sent, which was from Autoblog, so,
Credible.
I hear they have good writers there.
Only
They
the
know their
best.
stuff.
Yeah. But they said that the ones that people want are the two-tone ones. And so there may be something to the fact that they didn't send nearly enough two-tone ones. And I was thinking about it, everyone I've seen has been a two-tone one.
Yeah.
And if you're going to get one, I think that's the one to get. But they were talking about even Volkswagen, I think, on a corporate level, was thinking about wrapping them to turn them into two-tone,
to
cars
mitigate their lack of two-tone.
I guess, yeah. But it's not like they're clogging up dealer lots here. I don't think
I'm
that's the
seeing them
case.
on the lot here.
Yeah?
There are a handful, but I'm seeing as many on the road. But maybe that's, I don't know. I'm not on the
They just
inside.
need
It's
to
a
make a
Pacific Northwest
Harlequin.
car, isn't it? Wouldn't you say it's a good Pacific Northwest car if you don't have to go far?
Yeah, and like you said, if they're range aside, which obviously puts a damper on it, but there's a lot of exploring and overlanding and weekend camping and that kind of stuff that happens here, and it's very well suited for the climate and the terrain. So yeah, I guess that's an interesting sort of in an area where that isn't a big thing. You could see maybe they were selling even less, and so they're like, how do we save the reputation of this car without just admitting that they aren't selling the way that we hoped? Outside of, they're like, okay, so we're going to wrap them while we have the stop sale, and then we're going to come back with a vengeance.
Yeah. There's something going on.
Yeah. So stay tuned on that. We'll see if the truth ever comes out.
Can I talk about the worst car rental I think I've ever had?
Dan,
This
this has happened before.
The theme for this week is car news items that have made your blood boil. So please regale us.
And I
Grind those
will
gears.
refrain from naming the car rental company because at the end of this story, they have potentially saved themselves. We will see. But I was going up to Laguna, from Laguna Seca, which is the track. So from LA, that's about a five and a bit hour journey.
Yeah.
And I booked, instead of driving my Audi, I thought I'll book a convertible and head up the coast. So I booked a car and arranged to pick it up at 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon, with an idea that I might get out of LA and traffic and everything else-ish, might escape some of it before the rush hour. And I got to the car rental place, and they told me they didn't have a car. So
Like just nothing for you.
there was no car, but
You were living the Seinfeld where he goes to pick up his car, and he's like, I have a reservation. And she's like, yep, we have your reservation and no car.
and
It's
we
like,
don't have a car. Yeah.
what's the point?
So net is, they said,
Sorry, I'm thinking about that scene.
yeah,
The reservation holds the car.
Right. You can take reservations all you want. If there's no car, it doesn't matter.
Damn.
so
Poor
anyway,
guy.
I'm at it's 4 o'clock, and I booked it for 4 o'clock. I'm there at 4 o'clock, and they said, we found you one, but it's the other side of town.
And this is
is not
LA, so
familiar-
it's not
LA.
like
Yeah.
5
That's
minutes
not a
from-
reasonable proposition.
Yeah.
Proceed to drive me to Sunset Boulevard, where I get to their office in Sunset Boulevard, and the car's not there. So we're
Also
now
not there.
We're now 30 minutes after I was due to pick the car up. They then wait and pick up another employee in the car with me and gets in the back, and we
It's like a
drive
shared
to a
Uber.
car wash.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So at this car wash, I can see the Mustang, and it's clean. It's looking beautiful. It's only got like 3,000 miles on the clock. So we do the walk around. We do the inspection. I then get in the car, and excusing my French, I say, "What the fuck is this?" There was 6 miles left in the tank.
Oh wow.
Who hands you a car in the middle of
Yeah.
Sunset Boulevard with 6 miles left in the tank?
Well, I've got one of 3 guesses.
Right. So I complained, and I was shown little empathy, and was told that they had no obligation to put fuel in the tank, and that I would be, I collect it as it was, and they had no ability to say how much fuel was in the tank. So we're about
If
40
only-
minutes.
If only there was a gauge that would tell you
Yeah.
how much fuel
Right.
is in the
Yeah.
tank.
We're about 40 minutes after when I was due to pick the car up, and I'm not on the road yet. So I then navigate through Sunset Boulevard and find a gas station, fill up, and hit the road. As you are driving, I get this text, and it's this car company. Hey, how's your rental going? And I think I responded back with diabolical. And so the next thing I get is, we're really sorry to hear that. Someone will contact you during office hours. And this was getting beyond 6 o'clock at this point. So my expectations weren't that they were going to call me that night. So, but the next morning, all the offices open at 8 a.m. And by about 10 o'clock, I'd heard nothing. So I then sent them another text saying, you promised to contact me and you haven't. At 1 p.m., I get an email from the rental company. We're really sorry. We want to understand what went wrong, blah, blah, blah. So I then proceeded to write War and Peace in terms of my response to them and how...
It's pretty close. I saw it. He shared it with me. It's
Yeah.
It's a model for all of us moving forward, though.
There we go.
dealing with
It's a
Exactly
car-
what
template.
you
We
can-
could
Yeah,
just
rentals.
swap in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so listed all the issues, listed recommendations on how they could have done better against each issue. It was a proper consumer survey. And so then they contact me, and they said, we're really sorry. We're going to give you a day's rental free back. So they'll credit me a day's rental. And I said, look, I don't feel that's good enough. I don't feel that you've acknowledged the issues, and that if that's the best you can do, then I won't accept it, and I just won't use you again. It wasn't about the money; it was about the gesture.
Yeah.
So I was told that I could speak to the manager the next day when I was due to return the car. Part of me did think about leaving it in the car park with the engine on all night so that I could get it down to 1 mile, so that when I delivered it back, there wasn't enough gas in the tank to get it to a gas station with a, hey, this is Carla. But I didn't do that. I took the higher ground.
Yeah.
I
what is
talked
it?
to the manager. Manager was great, was very attentive, listened. They said, they said to me, all we can do is give you the 1 day credit. And I said, well, if that's the case, thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah.
I said, I am going to rent a car in 2 weeks' time. And she said to me, well, who are you going to rent with? And I said, well, that depends on you, doesn't it?
You're like, first of all, now is not the time, lady.
Right. So what they've agreed to do
Yeah.
is in 2 weeks' time, they said, if you book the cheapest car, which I think is a Mitsubishi Mirage, you book the cheapest car, we will give you a
Oh, that is the
convertible.
cheapest car. That's the cheapest car in the world, Dan. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tiny
So
little wheels and.
one of two things is going to happen in 2 weeks' time.
Okay.
I'm either going to be driving down the south coast, impressing all the ladies in a Mitsubishi Mirage, or they're going to give me a convertible. So watch this space, and if they don't give me a convertible in 2 weeks' time, I will be naming and shaming.
I was going to say, you're going to dox the car rental company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I could do the thing that guy in the Subaru did and just drive it through the window.
Yeah. By the way, Dan, they stopped making that in 2024, and at the time it was the cheapest new car you could buy. Also with the smallest wheels and tires on a new car available in the U.S. at the time, I believe. So
It's practically a roller skate, isn't it? It's
how about get two, one for each foot?
one for each foot, yeah.
That would
That's
impress
a
the
lot.
ladies, Dan.
There we go. I've got a brand new set of roller skates.
I wear cars for shoes. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's another title for the show. I wear cars for shoes.
I think selfishly, for the sake of the show and sort of the social media content, I'm
You're
rooting
hoping I
for
get
the
the Mirage.
Mirage.
Yeah, you're dead to me, Lindsay.
But for Dan's blood pressure, I'm really rooting for whatever the fanciest, shiniest, nicest thing
Right.
they have.
Which, by the way, haven't they already given you a Mirage once?
What did they give me? No, they gave me something really crap. What was it?
No, I'm sorry. That car that didn't exist. It was just a Mirage.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Mirage. was
Writer
gifted
humor.
me a- Yeah.
Oh
That's,
my gosh.
So we will see, but I don't know if I don't know. It was just me, and that wasn't a bad
Yeah.
experience, and I've just had good experiences, but it felt
Yeah.
like a bad experience.
Serious question. With the British accent, do you think that takes you further in
Yes.
these situations? Okay, thank you. I thank you. I appreciate having a Brit.
And on the
knowledge as well.
upgrades, I think it does.
Yeah.
So what I do, my secret is I walk in and go, "Have you got anything fun?" And I think at that point they realise, well, this is a car person.
Yeah.
This is a British accent.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do. And it usually 9 times out of 10 it usually works.
They're like, who is this character? I'm intrigued. Let's see what we
Well,
can do for him.
It's not like your boy at Monterey car rental, Lindsay.
My friend Eli.
Your
And
friend
actually,
Eli.
I think I
I'll
said
take your
first
best
before.
Nubian, please.
Yeah. He's like, you know what? We're fresh out of UAB and Puma, but can I interest you in a brand new Forerunner? Yes. That's Eli's move, and I will take it every
There we
time.
go.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
Eli at
I
Avis
love it.
is the best. Super.
Oh, that's
friendly.
right. That's a callback. Eli Davis. How's
I know.
Eli doing these days?
I don't know. We'll have to go to Car Week and find out,
I know, in a few weeks' time.
right? We'll have to pop
Guys,
him in
that's going to
and
be
say
here.
hello.
That's 4 weeks from today.
Yeah.
Or less, right? 4 weeks minus a day. I think I fly in on the 13th, which I think is a Wednesday or Thursday. It's
I was gonna say, I think Pebble is a month from tomorrow.
Yeah.
Possibly, but yeah, it'll be here before we know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like our blood pressures have been raised enough this week, and maybe we need to rest up for Pebble. So I think we should probably call it before we find anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. It'll just be the three of us this year at Car Week.
I know it'll be fun.
Yeah,
I'm
it'll be fun.
excited. Yeah,
We need to talk Michael into coming with us.
Oh, yeah.
So Michael is our official 4th member of the podcast.
Yeah.
that's right.
And as of a couple of weeks ago, so welcome on board, Michael. But,
That's right.
I'd
Yeah,
have you.
it's,
Super happy to have him with us.
Yeah.
And he'll be popping in from time to time as our adventures take one of us away. So we're very excited to have him on the team. But
Yes. Yes.
I think we all will stop where we are now and say thank you so much for joining us.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And remember, always be driving. We're That Car Show, and we'll see you next week.